Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to unbox the iPhone 15 Pro Max in white titanium. I did get the base storage, which is now 256 gigs, up from 128 from last year, and they did raise the price a little bit as well, so it is $11.99 for the Pro Max. They do still have the 512 gig and 1 terabyte options, and it does come in 4 different colors. Of course, this again is the white titanium. Taking a look at the front of the box, you can see we have our iPhone 15 Pro Max with that new wallpaper. We have thinner bezels all the way around. Of course, the dynamic island has returned for this year. And because we have the white titanium, we have silver iPhone lettering and silver Apple logo. And on the back, of course, iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's go ahead and open it up. We have one tab at the top and our tab at the bottom. And we have our white titanium iPhone 15 Pro Max on top. And putting our iPhone to the side, we can see our new USB-C to USB-C cable, and it is braided. Of course, our documentation. And here's what's included. Of course, we have a note about eSIM. Now that was introduced with the iPhone 14 models. And of course, it is still here today. So only in the United States do we have eSIM only and no physical SIM option. And we get one Apple sticker. Taking a look at the back of our new iPhone 15 Pro Max, you can see the white is absolutely beautiful. Looks very reminiscent of the past years. Of course, we have the Apple logo in the center and our camera modules. But the biggest change, of course, is the material. We have titanium now. So as you can see, it's not super shiny like the stainless steel of past iPhones, but you can also see that kind of brushed look as well. We have our power key, 5G window. Of course, a huge change is our change from Lightning to USB-C at the bottom. And of course, we have our new action button on the side and our volume keys as well. And now we can pull off our protector. And just to give you a quick side-by-side with the iPhone 14 Pro Max versus the 15 Pro Max, you can see that it looks nearly identical on the back. However, there is a slight difference in the tint of the white on both. So I don't know if you can kind of catch that on camera, but of course our Apple logo and camera modules are in the same spot. It is more rounded from the edges of the front and the back on the 15 Pro Max versus the kind of harsh end on the front and back on the 14 Pro Max. But you can also see the big difference, of course, with the material. So we have that stainless steel smudge magnet 14 Pro Max versus the brushed titanium on the new model. And there is definitely a weight difference between the two. So the titanium one feels much lighter in hand. But as you can see, power button and 5G window are in the same spot. On the bottom, of course, we have that change from Lightning to USB-C. You can see that the speaker looks about the same. So the spots for everything is about the same there. Of course, on the other side, you can see the change from the silent switch to the action button. The volume buttons look about the same as well. Not really much of a change there. And of course, from the top, you can see the view there. And here's a quick look at the blue titanium versus the white titanium. So as you can see, our blue is very reminiscent of the Pacific blue from the iPhone 12 Pro, but looks absolutely beautiful. You can see it's quite dark in comparison to our white titanium. And taking a look at the railing, you can definitely see that the blue and the titanium black will definitely show smudges worse than the white titanium and the natural titanium. So if you're worried about scratches, I would definitely look into the white titanium or the natural, because even just now you can see all of these smudges on the blue. All right, we'll go ahead and turn this on for the first time. All right, here we are at the welcome screen. I'll go ahead and go through setup here real quick. This appears to be a new addition to iOS 17 setup. So we have the appearance, and you can actually change the default text size right from setup. Another new addition to setup, as you can see, we have the option for silent mode in Control Center because we have that new action button. And when we go to the next screen, you can see we can now customize the action button. We have this nice graphic bringing the phone toward us. We have the, of course, default option of silent mode, or you can choose focus, do not disturb. We can also choose the camera, and you can also choose from selfie, video, portrait, or portrait selfie when pressing the action button. We also have the flashlight as an option, voice memo, magnifier, and a Siri shortcut. So if you do use those on a regular basis, you can choose a shortcut that you have already in your settings. And here we are at the main home screen. So if you're not transferring anything and you get this new out of the box, this is how it's going to look. You have a couple widgets at the top, And these are all the apps that are going to be included. Of course, we have the iOS 17 wallpaper as well. And the version that comes out of the box with is 17.0. However, there is a new update, 17.0.1, which was released this week prior to the iPhone 15 release. If you do get the base model, you're going to get 238.64 gigs out of the box, usable for you. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the dynamic island that was included with the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max last year, it's now included on the iPhone 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, and 15 Pro Max. And just to give you a quick demonstration of that, say you are doing a timer for 15 minutes. Once you start that timer and you swipe up, it's going to go and show you in that dynamic island. And you can, of course, tap it to go back. Of course, this works for phone calls, music, and a bunch of different things now, but it is a really nice feature. And of course, you get that nice little view at a glance of whatever you have running in the background. Another change, of course, is in our camera. We have better portrait mode, and we also have 5x optical zoom. So that is a really nice thing to see. So we also can go all the way up to 25x zoom digitally, which is really nice to see. As you may know that the iPhone 14 Pro Max and previous would only go up to 15x, so 25x is definitely a step in the right direction. Of course, there are some Android makers out there that have zoom much higher than iPhone. So if you're looking for a phone with zoom, probably not the iPhone, but the 5x optical zoom is a welcome change. Another change for the camera is the formats. So as you can see, for our photo mode, we now have the ability to change between 12 and 24 megapixel, and that option is not available on the 14 Pro Max. We also have some additional options for Pro RAW. So we have HEIF Max up to 48 megapixel, Pro RAW 12 megapixel, and Pro RAW Max up to 48 megapixel when we only had 12 and 48 before. And taking a look at the 14 Pro Max versus the 15 Pro Max side by side, you can definitely see the reduction in bezel is pretty clear here. Now, of course, if you're using a case, you may not notice the bezel so much with the 14 Pro Max, but now without it in a case, you can definitely see it has a much larger bezel. But also, the 15 Pro Max does have that kind of nice slight curve going all the way around into the frame versus the kind of hard stop that the 14 Pro Max does. Other things of note, of course, we have an upgraded processor. We have the A17 Pro, and of course we have USB-C, and that does allow you to charge other items as well. So if you have USB-C to Lightning, you can charge another phone. No reverse wireless charging or anything on this, but everything is still pretty similar to last year's model, but definitely a nice improvement. One thing I will note as a first impression is just how light this phone is compared to previous year models. It still looks really great, but definitely the weight is a nice reduction. The battery is the same as last year. Hopefully it is better, as you saw some people complaining about the battery degrading much faster than past year's iPhones, but of course those are things to be seen. But definitely first impressions are good, and definitely very beautiful in the white titanium. So there you guys have it, a quick unboxing and look at the iPhone 15 Pro Max in white titanium. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.